I switched to the 15-minute chart and had the best green day of the year 2026. Hey, fellow traders, Black Coffee Trader coming to you here on a Wednesday afternoon, May the 6th. Up a little over 3,600 today across the funded accounts. What do we have? About 13 Apex accounts, 2 Lucid, so that's 15 accounts, and got them all traded, and all of them very nicely in profit, anywhere from about 170 bucks to 390. So really, really nice trading day. And I think that the thing that stands out to me, the 15-minute chart, I was looking at the 2-minute as well, just to kind of see, going back and seeing what these entries look like. And I feel like I would have probably taken a very similar entry if I would have traded the 2-minute chart. The thing that stands out to me is I am doing all of my analysis on the bigger picture time frame, like 30-minute, 60-minute, and then I was going in and trading on the 2-minute. I'm trading on the 15-minute, which allows me and it forces me, I think is the better choice of words, to keep that bigger picture perspective. It allows me to it forces me to put my stops in the right place instead of being sucked into a little 2-minute candle and having a stop up here when it really should be in this area, for example, which I did on this trade. So that's really the thing that stands out to me. I don't know that the trade itself it looks the same, bigger picture if you look at the 2-minute. But the other thing that really stood out to me on the 15-minute today was the mental calmness I had in the trade. When I'm looking at the 15-minute chart, I'm not seeing this crazy up-down action that sometimes tends to shake you out of a trade. So I felt like it was easier to just sit and hold and allow the trade to run. So really happy with the day. I'll go through the trades. Let's look at the spreadsheet for the week. So we're nice and green on the week, nice and green today, but all of the accounts were in profit. The new legacy accounts were up over 400, and a couple of those are now back above the 50,000 marker. I said the legacy, I meant the end of day accounts, the end of days. My legacy accounts up here, back in profit. The best one there is up almost 800 in profit now, so that's really good. And coming along quite nicely. So really happy with that. Hopefully we can keep that going this week. Looking at TradeZella, I think that probably makes some sense. One of the trades on Lucid was actually last night right after market open, and so that trade recorded on this day, which made yesterday green instead of red. We had a small red day yesterday when I did my update. Excuse me, and that turned green. But anyway, this is really the trading day up 3,600, not the 2,800 that you see here. So that was really today. But anyway, over the last couple of days, I have this set for today, 60% win rate. Let's look at the weekly numbers this week. So we are at 4,200, 60% win rate, which is up nicely. And I think that's the other thing that the 15-minute chart is probably going to help me is I take a little bit less trades and probably have less losses. So anyway, let's look at, I'm just going to, let's go through the charts and we'll look at the trades and then maybe dive into some stuff. This was the trade last night as we gapped up after the market reopened at 6 p.m. We had this gap up right here. So you have this gap and you have the hold above the new all-time high that was made in the right after the New York session closed last night. And so when that held and we had this wicking candle pushing higher, I took the long. And first trade on the new 15-minute trade idea worked out very well. I actually want to show you what that looked like. So let's go in here. I actually need to make change. Nope, maybe I can get it. Here we, nope. There we go. Here's the trade. One of the things on the 15-minute, trading the 15-minute candle that I already noticed is I need to really pay attention to have a wick. If you're going to be looking for a long trade, you're expecting the move to be higher, the candle is going to look like this. You're going to have a wick and a wick of some sort, and so we need to see this forming. If I'm taking an entry immediately before I see that wick, there's a decent chance that maybe that turns into a bearish candle. So I really need to pay attention to that, I feel like. And again, I noticed that wick forming, holding. So the candle opened, filled this, retested this area, pushed higher. That's when I took the entry and had a nice winning trade there. And again, as you can see, I did get out of that trade here. I had a profit target set, and this thing shot up higher and definitely missed out on a bigger move, but that was okay. We had a really nice trade there. And then this morning in the pre-market on, let me think. That was on the new end of day accounts on Apex. I took this break and retest to the downside. We had a rejection area here. We had retested that, and I grabbed this rejection candle here and took that down for a $260 some trade. So really nice there. I did hesitate just a little bit, and it did cost me a few points. I probably could have maybe gotten out of here with 300 on this trade, but I did end up getting out with 260 because of that. I should have entered up here. There was definitely reasons to. The other thing I want to point out that you're not seeing is over here to the right. I have another monitor where I am looking at all the indexes on the 5-minute chart. So I'm looking at the 5-minute chart and the 15-minute chart, taking trades on the 15. So a little bit backwards maybe is how I traded today. Most people would maybe look at the 15 and then take the trades on the 5. I may change to that, but as of today, it worked out extremely well. And just the way I felt in the trades, I'm going to stick to this for at least a few days and see how it goes. If it falls apart, we'll do something different. But strategy is the same, just the time frame is a little bit different. So, but anyway, had a nice little trade there. And then we had a long trade on the old legacy accounts right here. This is the one that one of the ones that I messed up on a little bit. I was in the right trade. I probably would have gotten stop break even over here as we had this pullback. But really, I was in a nice trade. I didn't really trust it and trailed myself pretty aggressively and got out of this trade at about a $160 win. Also had a couple trades on ES that I want to show you. This is the only area that was a little bit difficult for me this morning. Took a short trade here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Took a short trade right here. Looking for this rejection on ES, very similar to NQ. Looking for this rejection. Didn't like it. Killed that trade here. Small loss. We had this big wick pushing higher, and then I took a long right here. You can actually see two longs. So I took the first long and got wick stopped out, and then I re-entered on the wick pushing higher. And again, this is something I should probably go and show you on here. Let's find that trade. That is this one right here. So this is something that I can't do, and I probably put it in the notes here. Break and retest of 73.45. I chased this and paid the price. There you go. So notice something on this entry. If you can see that, there's really no wick. I had told myself that I need to wait until we get some kind of a wick test before I enter this 15-minute candle. And we started to get a bit of a pop here to the upside. It's not a good arrow, but right here, this candle started to pop to the upside, and I just immediately jumped in long, and we ended up wicking down, taking me out. But then that wick is really what formed the entry for the next trade, which was this one right here. Come on. There you go. So you can see the stop out right there. And then you can also see this wick candle, and then that's really the cue in the entry that, okay, now this market is going higher. So a mistake trade right there cost me 150 today, but then this trade ended up running. So this ended up being a pretty decent little trade here. I think up, let's see, 40. It's not showing everything. Let's go back over here. What was that trade? 211 win on this trade. So anyway, that's pretty much the day, but feels pretty good. Nice to put some green on the charts. And again, like I said at the outset, the best day of the year so far. So really, really happy about that. And yeah, we'll just keep on working with this. And again, strategy is still the same. We're looking for, in this case, it was a reclaim long, but looking for the break and retest, looking for reclaims long or short, and looking for a big picture play. And again, I am looking for typically a small move on ES might be 10 points to 20 points. I'm typically looking for more like 20 to 25 points on ES. And on the NASDAQ, for most of the time, I'm looking for 20 to 100 points on the NASDAQ. So I'm not looking for a little move. So that's why I'm really trying to take the bigger picture time frame, or taking the larger time frame trades. So, and it worked today. So, hey, we're happy about that. So anyway, I got to shut up, but thanks again for following along. Hope you guys had a great day. We did trend up nicely today, so there should have been a lot of opportunity to make some money, and hopefully you capitalized on that. So thanks again. We'll catch up with you on the next one. Take care and so long.